The monster of greed you must feed. Collectibles, figures, clothing, and more. The Library of Horror Reviews.
Welcome back, everyone, for another figure review. Today we're looking at Diamond Select's Nightmare Before Christmas Jack Skellington, which is a re-release of the 2015 Toys R Us exclusive figure. There is an alternate version of this figure with a grimacing head and a nice graveyard diorama, and it comes in a completely boxy looking package. This is just the stand and the figure itself, so bare bones, I guess, just the bare bones. The price point is $14.99 currently, and if you missed your chance to get it last time, do so as soon as you can to avoid those scalper prices. Now, the original figure was plagued by breakage issues. It had quality control issues due to its frail body and is very prone to breakage. Now, this isn't the first Jack Skellington figure we've gotten. We've also had ones by NECA, which came with a lot of accessories. We had one by June Planning, which came with 3 alternate heads, and it came in a nice coffin-shaped packaging box. And we also had one by Kyoto Reveltech, which came with, I believe, 6 or 7 different head sculpts and tons of different hands. Now, those range between $30 to $100 depending on which one you get and where you get it from. But for the price point of $15, I think this is an excellent figure. I haven't actually opened it up and played with it yet, but we're going to do that pretty soon. And we're going to see if it's still plagued by those same issues that the 2015 version had. But before we do that, let's look at the packaging. So in the front we have the title Jack Skellington, Night Before Christmas. We see the nice image. We have a nice window to look at the figure itself and its single accessory, which is a stand, which from what I remember, it really needs that stand because of that frail body. Jack's face up there in the corner, nothing on the top, nothing on the bottom, nothing on the left, right. And then we have a little blurb right there. Jack Skellington, the Pumpkin King of Halloween Town and patron saint of Halloween, had grown tired of his yearly routine when he discovered a doorway to another world called Christmas Town. Fascinated with the trappings of this new holiday, Jack tries to take over Christmas duties from Santa Claus, but he is as clueless about joy and merriment as the other scare-happy citizens of Halloween Town. Now, with Christmas in danger of not coming at all, Jack must undo the damage he has wrought. And we have an image of Jack, like a prototype figure, and we got Sally and Oogie Boogie, and these are all from the first series of Night Before Christmas figures. At this point, Diamond Select is on their 4th wave. So if you missed your chance the first time, pick this guy up before prices skyrockets. Alright, so let's open this guy. Okay, so out of the package, I'm noticing a lot of issues with the guy. He's very frail. When you pick up, you can feel it. He feels a little flimsy too. And he can't stand at all. He actually comes with this stand, and you definitely need it. This guy cannot stand under his own weight. I've seen a few people online pose him without it, but it's so delicate, and so it's not worth the effort. So it's just easier to just keep the stand with him. And the stand itself is actually a little flimsy. The second joint on the back there is really loose, so if I wanted to do a jumping pose, I wouldn't be able to. It would just flop down. So this is pretty much all I can do. I can just have him stand. So the stand and the figure themselves are both really flimsy, and they feel his shoulder joints are so tight, and his leg joints are really tight too. So turning them, I feel as if I'm going to break them. So kind of the same issues that the original had, where it was very breakable. Now the elbow joints are fine. The knee joints are fine. The head rotates just fine, but it's just the shoulders and the legs are just. I had to take it out, heat it up with water. I may even have to shave the pig down a little bit to get it to move just right. So out of the box, he stands at a little under 9 inches, and so you guys can get an idea of what that is. We're gonna do a little size comparison, and we'll start off with SH Figuarts Trunks. Man, he looks so tiny. I can't get over how small he is. He looked big when I bought him. Then we have NECA's Ash vs. the Evil Dead Ash figure. A little bit at his... He stops right there at his waist. That's cool. And then finally we have Hasbro's version of the Masterpiece Grimlock figure wearing his crown. And he is slightly over 9 inches. So they're about the same height. Grimlock is just really thick and bulky. So I was commenting earlier on how great he looked in the package. But now that I have him in hand, I'm not so happy with the way it looks. It might work for some because, I mean, the paint did look a little kind of messy and jagged in the movie. But for me, it's just, on the figure, it just doesn't look great. I mean, the lines here, these look fine. I'm okay with that. But the paint, the way the paint kind of just gets slapped in there over the teeth, like no attention to detail. It's just kind of painted, just thrown in there. Look at all that white inside of his mouth, and then the tip of his teeth on the top have a little bit of black paint where they missed. So that's a bummer right there for me. And then the pinstripes are okay for the most part. It's a little jagged here. That's okay. That looks kind of cool. But look at the way that the lines converge on the suit. These go straight down, or these are coming at an angle, and they kind of just meet in a very sloppy way. And it's even worse on this side where the lines are actually going over the other pinstripes, and that looks sloppy to me. And then the level of paint on some pieces, on some limbs, is more splotchy than on the other sides. And, I mean, it looks okay here. The pinstripes look alright. But then you see a big difference here on the legs. See, it's like missing... Move arm. It's missing a lot of paint here on the leg. See all that black right there? And this side's all... I don't know. I feel the paint could have been done in a better way, better job. It's just... It's not... I don't know. It's too much here and too little there. And then here on the back, it's missing a lot of paint. It's just a lot of black. And it just kind of dries out here. This is missing here. And look at the tail of the figure. None of those lines meet at the very end. They all stop halfway or just go off in their own different direction. And it looks very sloppy to me. I'm kind of bummed out about that. But I don't know. Maybe all the figures are like that. Maybe NECA didn't do a good job either. Maybe Robotech just couldn't get it down. I don't know. I'm just not happy with that mouth. That mouth really sticks out to me. Ugh. I mean, the Revoltech heads are definitely better. And the cool thing about those other ones is that you get extra heads. This one you're just stuck with this post. And if you want a different face, you have to buy that alternate version. You have to buy a whole new figure just for a different face. And that's kind of bad. I mean, I guess for the price point of $15, you can't beat that. It is the cheapest option available right now. But for the attention to detail, it's kind of lacking. As I stated before, one of his biggest weaknesses or flaws is his joints. They're very tight in some places and very loose in other places, and there's no real in between where it's just right. They all feel either too loose or too tight, and I feel as if he's going to snap on me. I had to do a little bit of work just to get the shoulder joints to move at all. I had to remove the shoulder joints, the shoulder pins completely, just to try to wear it out a bit, and then put it back in. I couldn't even put it back in all the way because it's just too tight. I had to keep it sticking out just a little bit, just so I could move those shoulder pins. Now the joints themselves are very similar to what Revoltech does. They're two pins with a little ball joint in the middle snapped together with a ratchet in the middle. And now the problem with those Revoltech joints is that they wear out easy, and that's the same problem with this one too. The ratchet joints, they just stay and hold it in some places, but they'll completely drop in other places. So let's just go over the articulation. You guys will see what I mean. So the head is on a ball joint, and the head is probably the best thing for me to pose. I mean, I don't get any troubles with it at all. I'm not scared it's going to snap off. It's on a kind of a soft plastic neck. So it looks up about this much, looks down about that much, which isn't very much at all. It does spin completely around. That's kind of cool. And you get nice little tilts and poses out of it, but the sad thing is you can't look down on it. Let's see, he's wobbling way too much because of this stand and his frailty. Alright, and again, yeah, you do need the stand to keep him up, otherwise he's going to fall. You have a little peg hole in the back for you to put it in. As for the rest of the joints, we have that kind of double pin joint here in the back. And again, mine sticks out a little bit because, I mean, I have to have it, otherwise it won't. It's too tight to spin. So it goes all the way up, all the way down, and it goes pretty far inwards. It goes about that far in, but it is you have to have the arm, the elbow bent in to get it that that pose. Because it's a pin, you can spin this piece around all the way. But look, that's what I'm telling you. See, loose, very loose. There's supposed to be a ratchet in there, and it doesn't do its job. It stays about, no, it doesn't stay at all. Stay here? Yeah, there you go. But there, just drops. And then it does rotate here at the pin. But again, mine is sticking out a little bit so that it's not so tight. Again, I've seen a lot of people break theirs trying to pose it. It's because of how tight and thin it is. The elbow joints. Let's see if I can't get this. Let's do this elbow joint because this arm does not want to stay up. It's the same thing. It's all pins. So it goes about far that much. Goes up that much. Goes all the way down. and because of the way it's designed, you can spin the forearm all the way. This thing here too. The wrist is just a pin, just a swivel joint, so it spins all the way around. No problems here. I've had some people have real trouble with how thick the joint is in there. I think that's like the only thing Diamond fixed was the thickness on these wrist joints. Some people didn't even know that the wrist spins. Isn't that crazy? It's the same on the other side. This arm is a lot tighter than the other arm for sure. Again, be careful when you try to swivel the joint here. There's a big possibility that it's going to snap. There's a big gap whenever you turn it forward or backward, and I feel like it's just going to come right off. I really want to like this figure. I really want to like it, but these joints are driving me nuts. He does have a joint here in the waist, which gives him some bend. Not too much though. That's about as far as you're going to get moving it forward, and then that's about as far back as you get it. I'm not going to risk breaking the damn thing. Then same thing on the legs. You have two small, stop spinning, two small double pin joints like Revoltech. Those are also really tight and hard to move. So once I got it into the position that I wanted, I haven't moved it since. So these here rotate, and it's rotating it around the inside of the crotch area that's really tight. On the bottom pins are great. I mean, these move just fine. But if you want to move this top pin here, it's so tight. It does go about that far out. That's pretty far out. He does have pretty long, lanky legs. It goes about that far out. And he can do a full splits if you have his legs in the right position. Mine, I kind of have them in this direction. And again, they're too tight to really pose around. But it's supposed to do a complete swivel. But you'll have to either be really careful or sand the pin down itself. The knees go about that far back and that far forward. Oops, where is it spin? Oh, there it is. That far forward. Be careful. It's very, very fragile. I can't stress that enough. It does spin completely. And then there is a joint in the foot, and it does spin around completely. It's a pin joint. It comes out really easy though. My left foot is so loose, but my right foot is a nice thickness. Yeah, but that's all for his posability. And again, he's so difficult to deal with because of his looseness, and then the way he just stands on his stand. And so it's really tough to recommend this figure because of the joint issues that he has, where it's too tight here, too loose there, and there's a really big problem with breakage. I feel as if, I mean, if I hadn't taken the joints out, they would have snapped in the shoulder while rotating them. So again, things you can try to do to fix it is once you get the pin removed, do a little bit of sanding so it's not so tight, or maybe even try some more water. I would recommend sanding it, or just altogether passing on the figure. I mean, it's nice that Diamond is re-releasing it, but if you aren't fixing the issues that you had with the first release of it, why are you even putting it back out? I know there's tons of Nightmare Before Christmas fans, but I don't need a Jack that's this fragile. I mean, I would love to put him on my shelf, but I can't recommend this guy. I'm sorry. He is $14.99 currently at Toys R Us, but why would you want to throw away $15, honestly? Anyways. Oh, what a bummer. This is the first figure I'm like super disappointed with, and I really wanted to like him. It was like my first Jack Skellington, but I guess not. I guess he's going back to Toys R Us. Oh, anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the review. Like, subscribe in the bottom. Check out our other videos. We have a podcast. We have short animation videos. We do interviews. And then we also have a Twitter and Instagram. We even have an Etsy page now, so if you want to buy some cool prints, come check us out. We have some great artists. We actually have a very beautiful Nightmare Before Christmas print on our Etsy page with Sally and Jack in a very romantic pose. It's all inky. It looks very gorgeous. Thanks for checking out the video, and stay scary.